Hello everyone. Let me share something with you, with all of you today. Not many people know that I am a bit lazy, which may not be a bad thing. In fact, it is, I think, a good thing that you can have, that you are lazy. I'm saying this because when you're lazy, you find ways to do your job quickly, and you can then, of course, move on to doing something which gives you a lot of happiness. So I, of course, try to finish my work early, of course, without compromising on the quality. But this is, of course, my personal way of doing my work. When you have to do something which is monotonous or maybe it is a bit boring, try to do it quickly and try to do it maybe automatically whenever you can. Not always, but yeah, in most cases, especially if you're in IT, there are a lot of things that can be automated, and one such thing is time sheets. So personally, I do not massively enjoy logging my time on Jira issues, and this is something that is not really the most enjoyable activity for most of you. I'm not really going to judge you if you don't really do your timesheets on time, because I am also not really good in it. Now, today let me show you how I do my timesheets, and I think I'll probably give you some ideas and some clues, and maybe you can make your life a bit more, if not easier, then at least you can find more time to do things that you really enjoy, like maybe, I don't know, maybe do something with your computers, like write shell scripts, or go for a walk, or maybe watch my YouTube videos. So you can do a lot of wonderful things when you save time. So what I'm trying to show you today is, let us say you are working on Jira, and if you have Jira issues, then of course you have to log your time. And usually when you log your time, you have to either click on I think these three dots. No, because it is on cloud and it is a bit it is not really like server. So I am not the fastest Jira cloud user, but the option to log time is on the right hand side. So without any app, without any add-on, you have to, of course, do it by going to these three dots. And by the way, of course, you have to first go to the issue. Then you have to, of course, click on the log work. Then, of course, you have to log time. Like maybe on this issue, you worked for maybe, let us say, 15 minutes, which is really annoying, because you can actually work. You're supposed to log your time. It could be 15 minutes, or it could be, let us say, 1 hour, or it could be 2 days, whatever. And when you log your time, of course, you can take a look at the Worklog here, and you will see here that you did. Let me just refresh, because it is cloud. So when you take a look at the issue again after maybe refreshing it, you can hopefully see your work log that you just added on the issue. Now the thing about this interface is that you have to do a couple of clicks, and we are just talking about one issue. Imagine that you are supposed to log your time maybe every week, or maybe every 2 weeks, or I guess it is every week. Then of course you have to first remember those issues somewhere. Maybe you have a list somewhere, or maybe you are using Tempo, because Tempo gives you all those issues in maybe a tabular format or on a calendar, and then of course you can log your time. Now, if you are watching my videos, and I'm sure you must have seen the video where I talked about Worklog, adding a Worklog using REST API. Now, this works. This is great. I mean, of course, you can you can use this endpoint called REST API 3 issue. Then, of course, the issue key, and then, of course, you have to use the Worklog. And the main thing here is to pass the body of the time spent. Of course, the main thing here is the time spent. But when you log your work, optionally, if you want, you can also specify when you worked on this issue. Maybe you worked on this issue yesterday, or day before yesterday, or maybe you worked on this issue maybe today. But you have the option, along with, of course, a comment. Now the main thing here is the time spent. Now this is also a good start, but using this method, using of course REST API, I want to of course show you today how I log my time and how quickly and easily I do it with nothing but a simple shell script. Now, if you're using Postman, or maybe if you're using Talent API Tester, the good thing here is that you will get the curl command here that you can copy and straight away paste on your terminal. Now, what I'll do, I'll probably show you my my curl command that I will use. And what I wanted to show you today is that if you want to log your work for just one issue, you can. So I can use this command, something like this. Like right now, if you're talking about one issue, which is let me just expand this. So this is of course a simple curl command. Not much happening here apart from of course the authorization, which you have to do if you have to of course communicate to Jira. Otherwise you won't be able to. Then of course you have to pass this endpoint, which is of course in this case hard-coded issue key. So if I go back to my issue, this issue is PC1. Let us click on PC2 just to have some variation. And what I'll do is I will take a look at the work log. Now what I want to do is I may want to add let us say if I worked on this issue for maybe 2 hours. So if I press enter, it will of course make a REST call, and right now as you can see, this is not really a good looking JSON that you have, but you can of course pass it to something like JQ to make it a bit more easy to read, which I will not do right now because I'm not really interested in the response. I just want to log my time. So let me just refresh this and maybe take a look at the work log just to validate whether we have the work log here or not, because we did we ran this curl here. So this is of course fine and it looks nice. I mean, we have 2 work logs. It says 2 hours. Now you may want to of course do it for all the issues throughout the week. Now if you have, let us say, a list somewhere, we'll talk about how to get the list, but the important part here is to do this activity for, let us say, 10 issues or maybe 20 issues that you may have. Now what I do normally is when I log my time, maybe for a specific day. Then on that particular day, how much time is spent, maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then of course in that list of issues which I keep somewhere, let me just show you that list. So my list is this one, Jira issues.csv. So if you look at this list, it is nothing but the issue key followed by the amount of time that I want to log, and then of course the time. Now generating this list is of course not going to be automatic because someone has to build this list, and I will talk about this at the very end, like how easily you can generate this list again using curl or maybe REST API. But imagine that you have this list, or maybe when you're working on these issues every day, you can maybe keep a list of all the issues that you're working on. Let us say today I worked on maybe I'll just find one issue and I'll maybe make an entry. Like let us say you worked on ST, or maybe not ST. Let us find maybe a different project, AN board. So what I'll do is I will take a look at maybe do I have any issues here. So what I wanted to show you is that you can have issues from different projects. So AN213, let us click on this. I think this can be a good example. So AN-213, and let us say today I worked on this issue. Is it really 213? Yeah, it is 213. So today, let us say I worked on this issue, or maybe 2 days before I worked on this issue for 2 hours. And of course, I don't really want to miss it, so I will keep a list here. So today is 11th. 2 days ago was maybe 9th of June. I'm using this format DDMMYY and 2021. Now this is great. What I can do now is I can now save this file, and imagine that you have this file somewhere. You can then run a script that can I wrote a script, and I'll show you the script, how it works and how it looks like. It is of course nothing but the curl command that I showed you earlier, like this, the same command, but of course I'm looping it. So let me first run the script, and then we will see and we will take a look at how the script can be used, and how you can also modify it if you need to. So to run the script, I'll go to my folder. I'm basically keeping all my Jira scripts somewhere at one location, and I'll just take a look at the folder where I need to go. Okay, so the script is add worklog, and I will simply run it. That is it. So the script is configured to read this file, which is right now in my home directory, my Jira issues.csv, and it will make sure it will read the read each and every line. It will go through the first line, then it will pick up the first issue, then the amount of time, and then of course it will log the time for that particular day, and that is it. So imagine that today is Friday, or maybe every Monday your manager is chasing you, Ravi, please log your time. I can of course tell my manager, okay, give me half an hour, or give me 1 hour, or maybe 2 hours, or maybe some time. Then of course I'll look at my work which I did last week. I'll take a look at my notebook, and I'll log my time, and your manager will say, okay, yeah, take your time, but please do it today. So what you're actually doing, you're actually running a script. So you can simply run it, and it will of course take some time. And right now the script is indeed running, and it will of course go through the issues one by one. So let us first take a look at the AN213. I'll probably open it here in the same window so that I don't have to. So AN213. So let us first take a look at AN213, and what I will take a look at is whether this issue got this time log for 9th of June. So let us click on the work log. If I can, let me get rid of the sidebar. So work log. I mean, the good thing about Jira Cloud is that it is actually friendly. I mean, you can like work on, you can resize the window, and it will still work. It is not entirely responsive, but it is quite good. So let us also take a look at maybe ST13 maybe. So this is 2 days ago, by the way. This is something that you need to look here. So maybe let us look at maybe PC1, because PC1 is the issue that we were just working on. So I logged 30 minutes on 10th of June, which was yesterday. So let us click on this. And even if you may have tempo, by the way, but even if you're doing it with tempo, it is still a pain because you have to like click on it. I know there are ways in tempo that, I mean, I'm sure there is a way to also perform CSV import, but doing it like this is probably, my preferred way, because everything is in my control. So if you look here for the PC1 issue, it is also saying 30 minutes. And let me, of course, now show you the actual script. Now, if you look at the script is doing exactly the same thing that I was trying to show you. The script that I ran. So this script on the right hand side, if you look here, this is nothing but the curl thing that I just copied from my Postman, or it could be Talent API. But if you look at the script here, this script is basically the main part is of course this part here. And what I'm also doing here is, along with time spent, which is of course coming from a variable, I'm basically also making sure that there is an additional item in my JSON, my body, which is the started. So basically based on the started date, your issues will get the time log, that work log entry on that particular date, because you don't really want to, like, imagine that you log your time on Friday or a Monday without passing this date. Everything will be on that particular date, which may not be ideal, and maybe you don't really want to do this, like run the script every day. Now, if you look at the script, it is nothing but a simple while loop, which is going to read this file, which is Jira issues.csv. So as long as there is a line in this particular file, which is in my home directory, I mean, you can of course make it work. Maybe you can have this inline, but I prefer having a separate file which I can of course maintain. And this of course is configured to use this Jira issues.csv file. When I run my scripts, I prefer to keep my scripts I prefer wherever applicable. I prefer if I don't have to pass arguments. So that is why I prefer, just maintaining this Jira issues.csv file. So I don't have to like pass the file name every time. And that is what I do. I mean, the only thing that I have to worry about is preparing this list. So when you look at this particular script, it is of course first looking at the individual line. Then it is delimiting this using comma. So using this cut utility, you can delimit the first row and you will get 3 items. You will get issue, key, you will get worklog, and then of course you will get the actual date. Now based on date, I'm again, because we are passing this date as it is, like it is nothing but a string, I'm again fetching the, using the same method using cut, I'm fetching the day part and the month part and of course the year parts. And so when I have these variables with me, I'm basically using the same curl command that I showed you earlier, and I'm basically filling or replacing those hard-coded values with the actual variable names. And when I of course run the script, I mean, of course, if I want, I can also maybe send at the very end something like notify send. Let me do it. Why not? So notify send, maybe time sheets all done. So maybe I can have a nice message somewhere that all done, and enjoy your time. So let me just run the script one more time and let us see if we get a notification. I think in the previous video I talked about did I talk about notification, or that video is probably not out, but let me show you. Let me show you and run the script again. So the script is add worklog. And by the way, the good thing about script is that you can actually plug it in anywhere. Maybe you can run a cron job, and as long as you have entries in this file, it will do the worklog for you, and you can be a good employee, a very good, nice, sincere guy in your organization who is always logging your timesheets on time. So let me just run the script one more time, and this time hopefully we'll get a notification, hopefully, that all done. And it is very satisfying that you can of course see, okay, so we have this notification, and when you run the script, it is a nice feedback that it is indeed done. And what else? I think that is it. That is all I wanted to show you today. I think it is a really nice way to save time and make sure you are not only saving time, but you're also learning. The point that I'm trying to make here is that when you do these things for solving your own problems, then of course you can help others. Like, I'm a consultant, I help other clients solve their problems, but you need to know you first need to know how you can solve your own problems before you can attempt and even listen to other people's problems. And it is a lot of fun, and I actually use it, to be honest. I mean, now talking about how you can prepare this list. Now there is something called as the Google API. I mean, if you go to console.google.com or console.whatever something google.com, you have the option to also talk to your I'm trying to give you an idea. If you're using Google Calendar, so if you're using Google Calendars, you can actually fetch the information from Google Calendars to your maybe a sheet. If you're doing it using maybe Google App Script, I mean, you can actually just what I also used to do, and I do it sometimes as well, whenever I have we all use calendars, we all use Google Calendars, which I'm assuming. I'm sure there is a way to do it using maybe Microsoft Calendars, but if you're using Google Calendars, you can actually store the issue key in the event. So whenever you have any activity on the calendar, instead of keeping a note somewhere, like maybe a notepad, like a physical notepad, or maybe a CSV file like this, if you have that Google Calendar, you can actually update that calendar with that issue key along with maybe the effort, and of course you anyways have the date in your entries. And using that Google API, you can actually retrieve the same thing, or you can actually generate the same CSV file. But I think as long as you have this CSV file at one place, because if you're working on, let us say, 10 different activities, I don't think it will take massive amount of time to prepare the CSV file even manually. But the major time consuming part was to log the time, which you can actually automate. And by the way, this method will of course work on Linux, because it is nothing but shell. I'm just using one utility here called cut. I'm not even using JQL because I don't need to, because I'm not really passing the response. I'm just pushing something, like I'm just adding my worklog. You can, let us say if you have to look at the response and maybe you have to do some error handling, but not in this case. I'm right now happy with whatever I'm able to configure. And what else? Yeah, so I was talking about you can of course run it on Linux, which I use. You can also do it on Mac. If you're on Windows, what I normally do, I do have like couple of hard disks with Windows, and sometimes I swap the hard disk. I insert the Windows hard disk on my machines, because you can on these old ThinkPads you can actually just pull out the hard disk and insert a new one. So if I have to play, let's say, sometimes I play games, I insert that hard disk to play video games on Windows. Now, on Windows, what I normally do, I install that Linux subsystem. So you can actually have Linux within your Windows, and you can of course expect it to run all the scripts, and those scripts really work fine, just like on any other Linux-based operating system. So this is something that I thought I'll probably talk about today, because I hope this will help you, and you can do something similar, maybe to make your life slightly better, and of course enjoy your time, your free time that you will save. And that is it. That is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.